All right, hey, welcome back everyone. So we are back here the next day after digging the pre-sewers. This is the same 3 lots. On these 3 houses here, we dug the pre-sewers and backfilled the other day as we saw. Now we are here digging the actual basements. So day 1, I actually didn't have the camera with me, so this is picking up on day 2. This is the morning of, right where I left off the day before. So we are loading up most of the fill and taking it away. I only have 1 dump truck, so he's not going very far, so it's working okay. But besides that, I'm trying to pile up whatever I can around the front, around the sides. You can see that there is some water ponding in there. Those holes with water in them are where the sewer caps are, and the water coiled up. That's the end of the trench that we dug in. So under that water, there's the gravel's there, everything's there, the pipe that we dug in the other day on the pre-sewers. We've got our laser level set up, basement height set, but we actually have 3 different elevations. The first 2 basements nearest to the one that they're framing on, that's already built. Those 2 are within an inch of each other on the elevations, so we actually just dug them the same height. And then the last one, we had to step it down almost 5 inches, basically 5 inches. So that one we're gonna do a little step down, and that's right where we're working here now. I'm just cleaning up the bulk of what's on top here, and then I'm gonna lay down my spray so I know where it is, and we'll have to step this last one down about 5 inches. That's a pretty foggy winter day here. It's a little mild. I guess that's why it at least seems a little foggy. Now the bricklayers actually all went on holidays, so what I'm doing here is just going through explaining that they basically left all their stuff there. It needs to be moved. The bricklayers have they've had some notice, but they're away. So they have that stake that's the back corner of the one basement, and that stake is right next to the brick. So I actually have to dig right up along the brick. So they're gonna have to get that moved along with all their containers and bins and skids and all that stuff. They had that all cleared out of there. So I have not only so I can dig, but also so I have somewhere to put the dirt, and then make ramps in the backyard after for the trucks to access to spread stone, like the stone slingers and the form trucks that drop off the forms. They have to have their access in as well. So we try to leave them access in the back and in the front. If I do leave piles in the front, I try to leave them in a specific, like one location, and leave at least 30 feet or so areas that are relatively level for them to get in and out and have good access.
Down the street, it's probably only going a couple hundred feet down the road. But yeah, normally I wouldn't overload it that bad, but he's just going down the street, staying on the site. It's just a construction site, not much going on, and it's an old Mac, the excavation box, so it's definitely built to handle the load. I don't think you can overload those trucks.
And today we were a little short-staffed, so it was basically just me and the truck driver. So the day before we had a pitman here, but today between me and him we had to kind of take turns running out here to check the grades. Here what I'm doing is I'm in the far back corner here now of the back side of the basement. What I'm trying to do is get as much dirt as I can while I can reach to in behind this other house, because as I move further away from here it'll be harder to reach back here. So I'm just trying to get the bulk of the dirt as much as I could and swing it over. So it also gives me more room to put dirt in the back. Obviously, again, I only have 1 truck, so I'm trying to work as smart as I can. While he's gone, I'm trying to move whatever dirt I can move, whatever makes sense. Again, we have a very deep cut too, so that doesn't help the situation. We got about, give or take, in about 5 to 6 feet of fill we're taking out. So it's throughout the whole thing, so it's a decent amount of fill we got to remove. So here we had a nice chunk of frozen dirt stuck to the weeper, which knocked it down when we were trying to pull the dirt away from it. But the reason why we're doing this too is because all these frozen chunks up against the wall, we technically don't have to take the dirt down, but if it does happen to break off and come tumbling down and hit somebody while they're working on forming the basement walls, it could be dangerous. So even though there is a decent amount of space between the units, probably somewhere between 6 to 8 feet, just to be on the safe side, I like to knock the sides down at least till close to waist height and not leave a bunch of big chunks up there. And here, as I'm digging, you can see the gravel showing up from the trench from what was pre-sewered in. So this is how we know where to dig at the end of that trail of gravel. That's how we know where the end of the trench was. So as I'm digging here, I'm scraping, and that's what helps if you put the gravel higher than the basement height. So when you're doing at basement height, you're scraping through gravel, and you still know there's a few inches of play of gravel below you there that you can dig comfortably. But yeah, we'll follow that trench to the end to where the gravel runs out, and that's roughly where we know to dig down with the shovel to clean up the piece of plywood that's there. Okay, here you can see we've got the plywood completely cleaned up and exposed. So underneath that is where all the pipes are, the water line rolled up and the other sewer drain pipe. So we just completely uncover the plywood and leave it at that. Then once it's time for the plumber to come in and keep the trenches going, he will uncover that. It's just we take off the gravel and the hard work, getting all the material off of it. So all he has to do is lift up the plywood and everything he needs to connect to is there. Hey, look at that. Look who decided to show up. The bricklayer finally came and started moving all the stuff out of the way. It's about time. Here it's getting towards the end of the day. It's probably mid to late afternoon, so the builder has sent their laborers over to lay down some thermal blankets on the basement ground there, and that is to protect it from frost getting into the ground. It wasn't that cold of a day, but it was still supposed to go down to about -5, -10 degrees Celsius overnight, so that means we would get frost in the ground. And even one of the guys there that was laying the blankets down was helping out once in a while, coming to be my pit man when he was getting close to me. So it was nice. He actually works with us in the summer, and the winter works for the builder. So while he was in the hole laying down blankets, once in a while he just checked the grades for me. So it worked out quite nice. Okay guys, well basically the battery died here, and shortly after this we were done for the day anyways. It was getting to the last hour of the day or so here. So we finished up digging up a little further, and the next morning we came back, finished digging up the last half of the basement that was left, and they got everything tarped up and cleaned up and ramps in, all done. And they called us back in about a week and a half to come back and backfill, and I'll have the video coming out on that soon. Again, if you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned for more content.